Hi, friends. It's Mrs. Quella. I'm here to read a story to you. And I'm going to read the story on the computer. So I'm sharing the story with you. I don't have to hold the book. Can you see what my story is about today? I have a story that's called Caps for Sale. Do you notice in the picture on the title, the cover page of the book, there's a man sleeping in a tree? What is he doing sleeping in a tree way up high? That's not very safe. Let's see what we can find out what happens in our story. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can see. You see that better? And look what's on the bottom of the tree. What do we see there? Hmm, I see two monkeys that look like they're up to no good. Let's see, our story is called Caps for Sale, and it's a tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. It's told by Aspir Slakbekina. All right, let's listen up. Here's our story. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First, he had his own checkered cap and a bunch of gray caps, a bunch of brown caps, and a bunch of blue caps, all on top of his head. See that? Checkered, 1, 2, 3, 4 gray, 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4 blue, and 1, 2, 3, 4 red. Holy cow, he walked up and down the streets holding himself very straight so to not upset his caps, and he went along calling, caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap, pulling him up and down the streets. He was a vendor. One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street, he walked down the street, calling, caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap. But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody even wanted a red cap. He began to feel hungry, and he had no money for lunch. I think I'll go for a walk in the country, he said, and he walked out of the town slowly as to not upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. That's a nice place for a rest, he thought, and he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back a little against the tree trunk to not disturb the caps that are on his head. Then he put his hand up to feel if they were straight. First, his own checkered cap, then the gray caps, and the brown caps, and the blue, and the red on the very top. That's a lot of caps on his head, boys and girls. They were all there, so he went to sleep, and he slept for a long time. The caps on his head? That had to have been difficult. Do you think you could balance all those on your head? I couldn't. But when he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. He felt very good. Before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place, and he felt only his checkered cap was there. only one cap on his head. Uh-oh, what happened? He looked to the right, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked back behind him, no caps. And he looked behind the tree, and no caps were there either. Where did they go, boys and girls? I don't know. Then he looked up in the tree, and what do you think he saw? What did he see? Oh my goodness. On every branch sat a monkey, and on every monkey there was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. Look at all those monkeys monkeying around with them hats on their head, them silly monkeys. The peddler looked at the monkeys, and the monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he decided to speak to the monkeys. He spoke to them. What do you think he said? He said, "You monkeys, you," shaking a finger at them, "you give me back my caps." But the monkey only shook their fingers back and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Boys and girls, those monkeys are mocking him, means they are doing the same thing he is doing. This made the peddler angry. So he shook both of his hands and yelled at them and said, "You monkeys, you, give me back my caps." But the monkeys mocked him again and shook their hands and just said, "Tss, tss, tss." Them sassy monkeys. Now he felt quite angry, and he stamped his foot and said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." And the monkeys only stamped their feet back and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Oh, sassy monkeys. By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both of his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped with both of their feet now, and back at him said, "Tss, tss, tss, tss." Uh-oh. What's gonna happen next? So at last, he became so angry, he pulled off his own checkered cap and he threw it on the ground, and he began to walk away. He had enough. He was so angry and threw. But then each monkey pulled off their cap. And what they do with their cap? They threw the gray caps, all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and the red caps came flying down out of the tree onto the ground. Did his idea work? Yeah, his idea worked. So the peddler got to pick up all his caps and he put them back on his head. First his own checkered cap, then the 4 gray caps, then the 4 brown caps, then the 4 blue caps, and then last on top, the 4 red caps. So he had all of them back on top of his head. And slowly, slowly, he walked back into town, calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." And that's the end of our story called Caps for Sale. I hope you really enjoyed it. This is one of Mrs. Quella's favorite stories, and you can re-listen to it again. And those silly monkeys, they just get me every time. Have fun. We'll see you soon.